So, in today's class, I'll explain how to apply the law of sines to find the missing sides and angles of a triangle. Let's say that a triangle is given. Please remember that the small letters always indicates, this one indicates that these are the sides, and the uppercase letters, they indicate the angles. So here angle A, angle B, and angle C. Okay. So the rule is A, oops, it is A over sine A. When I say a lowercase a over sine A means that is side A over sine angle A. Okay. Next, B, this is equals to B over sine B. If you want to know how this rule is derived, means that is posted in the worksheet, you may refer to the worksheet. Then C over sine C. This is the rule you have to remember. So let me quickly go to the next, the first question of the day. I'll do one thing. I'll take this question later and I'll start with question 2. Why? I'll explain later. So, to solve any problem, I personally suggest you to write the rule first. My bad. The numerator is A over sine A equals to lowercase b over sine B equals to lowercase c over sine C. Please remember, these uppercase letters indicates that these are the angles and the lowercase indicates that they are the sides. So, when we talk about side, okay, angle A opposite to that side A, I don't have any of these two values. So, by the way, there are three fractions we are using. Out of these three, usually one fraction we knock off. We don't use it. So out of three fractions, we knock off one fraction for sure every time. So here, then coming to B means the side opposite to angle B. I see that there are some values which is side is 7 units over sine B means that is sine angle, you see that it is 44 degrees, sine 44 degrees equals to C, which means uh, the side opposite to angle C. Actually, you are asked to find what is the value of that. So that is AB, which we don't know, over sine C. Therefore, that is sine angle C. I see that 53 degrees. You may make use of online Desmos calculator. I'm using my TI-84 calculator. So 7 over sine 44. I'm using my calculator. Sine 44 is 0.694. 0.694. You may take after decimal 2 digits, but if you want more accurate value, you may prefer to take 3 digits. So AB over sine 53, which is 0.798. 0.79, oops, my bad, is 798. Then you know how to cancel out this one so that you can isolate AB. We go by inverse operation, multiplying by 0.798 on both these sides. So this one and this one gets cancelled. Oops, my bad. These two gets cancelled. Length of AB equals to, I'm using my calculator again, 7 divided by 0.694. The result is then multiplied by 0.798. Yes, that's giving me 8.04. That's the length of AB. So just make use of calculator, you get it. Now I'll explain why I skipped question 1. You are asked to find AC. So what is the length of this one? I see that angle is there and opposite side. This is to be computed. Right? And next, angle A is given but opposite side is missing. Please remember, when you are using sine rule, out of 4 components, as I mentioned before, usually we drop one of the fractions. So we have 2 fractions, which means there are 4 elements. Out of 4 elements, you should know 3. You should know 3 values, then you can find what is missing. Okay. In the previous question, side C, which is AB, is missing. So we computed that, you know that. But here this is a different scenario, because if I write the formula, that is A over sine A equals to B over sine B equals to C over sine C. Let's plug in these values first. What is A means? The side opposite to the angle. We don't know. So which is BC? You can read it. It is BC. Over what is sine A? That is sine 118 degrees. What is B means? Opposite side to angle B, which is AC, over, you can read that the angle B is given as 22 degrees, therefore sine 22. C, that is the side opposite to angle C, which is 24 over sine C. So sine, I don't know what the angle is. Here, look at the question. You are asked to find AC. So this fraction is a must. While computing, if you know the side and if you are missing with the angle, then the angle can be computed. So this part is unnecessary fraction. I repeat, this is the unnecessary one. Because AC we have to find, we have to keep this fraction. And here side is given, but angle is missing. If the angle is missing, somehow we can compute. But if the side is missing, we cannot. Therefore, this part is dropped. You know that sum of 3 angles of a triangle is 180. So let me compute here. We know that sum of 3 angles of a triangle is 180. And in this question, 2 angles are given. One is 118, the second one is 22, and the third angle C is missing. Yes. So you can compute, 118 and 100 plus 22. That gives me 140 degrees. Plus C is 180. You can use a simple algebra to isolate C. So you get that the value of C equals to 40 degrees. So that value I'm taking. Please remember, when you're using sine rule, we take only two fractions. In these two fractions, two numerators and two denominators without four. Out of four, you should know three values, then only you can solve it. So, if any angles are missing, then you may make use of sum of three angles of a triangle is 180. Then you can find the third one. That makes your job easier. Okay. Now, AC over sine 22. I'm using my calculator again. You may make use of Desmos online calculator. So, sine 22.374 equals to 24 over sine 40. So sine 40, that's giving me 0.642. 0.642. You know how to isolate AC. You have to cancel out the denominator. So let me take the inverse operation, which is times on both the sides. Then after the cancellation, AC equals to 24 divided by 0.642, then the result is multiplied by 0.374, 13.98. Okay. Now, any questions? I say, any questions? You may type in the commentary box, the comments box. Okay. This is another simple question. You are asked to find BC. Always check one point. Angle is given, opposite side. So this is to be computed. And next, side is given. Do you have the opposite angle? You don't. You don't. If the angle is missing, immediately you compute that first. Just like our question 1. So let me write that sum of three angles of a triangle is 180. I see that one angle is 58 degrees, second angle is 93 degrees, and the third one, which is angle B, is missing. So let me do quick math. 58 plus 93, 140, and 11, 100. 51 plus angle B is 180 degrees. Now use a simple algebra. You know how to isolate B by subtracting 151 on both the sides. You get that angle B equals to 29 degrees. So angle B is 29 degrees. Why did I compute? Means always you have to check. If you have a side, you should have the opposite angle. Then if you have an angle, you should know what is the opposite side. By the way, here you are asked to find BC, therefore that is acceptable. Now let me write the condition. A over sine A equals to B over sine B equals to C over sine C. I understand that this is really confusing. The formula is not confusing. When I take A over sine A, B over sine B, C over sine C, it's pretty easy. But which one represents side and which one represents angle, that is a little confusing. Until you are familiar with this formula, then you better write as side A over angle A. This is how you write. You practice this way. Once when you memorize this one, then you need not write the angle symbol on the side. Okay? Well, let's start with side A. What is side A means? The side opposite to angle A, which is not there. In fact, you are asked to find this one. So it is BC over sine. What is the angle here? 93 degrees. Next, side B. Side B means the side opposite to angle B, which is 16 over what is angle B means, that is 29 degrees. Next, C. So angle is given and side is not given. By the way, you are asked to find BC and we have both numerator and denominator here. Therefore, we don't need this fraction anymore. We don't need this fraction anymore. Always you have to take two fractions. Now, BC over sine 93. Make use of calculator. Sine 93. That gives you 0.998. 0.998 equals to 16 over sine 29. What is sine 29? That is 0.484. 0.484. You know how to eliminate this value and you can make BC, as subject, or you can isolate this one by inverse operation, which is the multiplication, 0.998. So the value of BC is, make use of calculator, 16 divided by 0.484. The result is multiplied by 0.998, 32.99. 32.99, approximately 33 units. Now, please check, does it make sense or not? I see that AC is 16 and this value is it's more than, a little more than double, but I see that BC is longer than AC and it is, that makes sense. Suppose if I get the BC is 330, come on, it's not possible, right? Okay, so let me take one more model. This time you'll be asked to find what the angle is. The previous one we computed the missing side. Now here you are asked to find the missing angle. So find angle C. So this is the angle which you are expected to compute. Okay, let me compare. Angle is not known and opposite side it's given. Okay, so C over sine C is taken. And which one shall I take? Is it B? Here the angle is missing. And shall I take A? You know, angle and side both are given, right? Therefore, I have to go for this A over sine A. Please remember, I'm not taking B. I'm not taking B. This is knocked off. Why means the reason is pretty simple. The reason is pretty simple because A angle A is given, side is given. Therefore, this fraction I have to take. And angle C is to be computed. It is to be computed and opposite side. Therefore, this one also I have to take. So if these two are taken, the unnecessary fraction is the middle one. This is this part. Now, let me plug in these values. What is side A? Don't forget the side opposite to angle A, which is 26 over sine A value 88 degrees equals to C means As I mentioned before, you may write it as side C. That makes a little easier. So side C means the side opposite to angle C, which is 21 over sine C. So 26 over sine 88 degrees, I'm using calculator, sine 88.999. Interesting number. 999 equals to 21 over sine C. Especially when you are finding the angles, all the time you may see that the angle which is to be computed, that is in the denominator. In such case, you go for cross multiplication. Therefore, 26 multiplied by sine C equals to 0.999 multiplied by 21. Always our aim is to isolate the variable. Therefore, 26 is to be eliminated. That is done by dividing 26. You know the inverse operation. So sine C equals to 0.999 multiplied 21, then divide by 26. Oh, my apologies, there is an error. 0.999 multiplied by 21, the result is divided by 26. 0.806. 0.806. In my previous session, I explained that how to figure out the angle. What you have to do is you have to move this angle to the other side and the number to this side. When you swap these values, you have to take inverse. So sine inverse 0.806 equals to angle C. So what is sine inverse 0.806 means? I'm using my TI-84 calculator, but I explained how to compute the angle in my earlier lessons. If you want, you may refer to yesterday's lesson video, there you'll find. So it is giving 53.7. Due to lack of space, I am writing here angle C equals to 53.7 degrees. 53.7 degrees. I know that just one example is not sufficient to understand any problem. So I'll give another example. This time again you are asked to find measure of angle C. So quickly let me write that A over sine A equals to B over sine B equals to C over sine C. If you are not comfortable, as I mentioned before, side A or angle A, this is how you may write it so that you may not forget. Now let's plug in these values. Angle A is given and the opposite side is given. Therefore, side A value is 22 over angle 97. Therefore, sine 97 degrees. B, side B means the side opposite to angle B, which is 9 over sine. I don't know what is the value of angle B here. Equals to side C. So the side opposite to angle C, which is 19 over sine C. Read the question. You are asked to find the measure of angle C. Therefore, this fraction is a must. and I see both numerator and denominator. I know the values, I know these values. Therefore, I have to consider this fraction too. So the one which is in the middle, that is not required. That is not required. So that's a misleading extra information. Now, 22 over, what is sine 97? I'm using my calculator. Sine 97.992 equals to 19 over sine angle C. Whatever you are asked to find, if it is in the denominator, it's not easy. So in such case, you may go for cross multiplication, which is 22 times sine C, then 19 times 0.992. As I mentioned before, our goal is to isolate the variable. So we go for inverse operation, which is division. So here these two gets cancelled. Sine C equals to 19 over 22. The result is multiplied by 0.992, 0.8567, 0.856. You may take 3, 4, it's up to you. Next, to figure out the value of the angle, please swap these values. That is a letter here, variable to other side and the numbers to this side. Therefore, sine, don't forget to take the inverse. 0.8567 equals to, that's the measure of angle C. I'm using my TI-84 calculator. If you want, you may make use of Desmos online calculator. It is 58.9. So angle C equals to 58.9 degrees. Okay. Now questions. Please type in comment box. Well, I know that there is a chance to get confusion here. Let me take from this step, which is sine angle C equals to 0.8567. 0.8567. The question is, what is the angle? What is the angle? You may refer to the previous videos where it is clearly mentioned how to figure out the angle. If you want to figure out what is the value of the angle, you have to move this side and this number is to be moved here. You have to switch these values. When you do that, you have to take the inverse. Sine inverse 0.8567 equals to angle C. This is the procedure. So already I computed earlier using my calculator, so which is 58.9 degrees. That is the value of angle C. If you want, you may refer to inverse trig ratios, inverse trigonometry. Okay. Just to refer inverse trig ratios. Yeah, these questions are pretty much same as the previous examples which I discussed. I'm not going to explain completely, but I'll give you an idea that you draw a triangle, you may name it as A, B, C, and when small a is given, it is understood that the side opposite to angle A, which is 25, and next I see that lowercase c, which means the side opposite to angle C, which is 26, and next angle A is given as 70 degrees. This is given as 70 degrees. Please notice that three values are given and you have to find the fourth one. When you're asked to solve each triangle means what is the missing side? What is the missing side here? Okay, you may write the formula, plug in these numbers, then you get the answer. Well, let me take another question. This is really important and slightly different too. It looks simple, but it is different. Why is it different? I'm going to explain now. You know the condition that is A over A over sine A equals to B over sine B equals to C over sine C. Okay, let's say that you are asked to find, here it's given as find angle R. So this is what you have to figure it out, right? In this question, instead of A, B, C, I see that P, Q, and R given. Therefore, wherever A comes, take P. Wherever B comes, you take Q. And wherever C comes, you take R. Okay? So in the place of A, let me take P over sine P. Then Q over sine Q. Next, R over sine R. Okay. When we talk about P, this is P and opposite. In fact, both are missing. Both are missing. Therefore, you may drop this fraction. Next, Q, I see the angle and I know what the side is. Therefore, the side value is 28 over what is sine angle Q means the angle is given as 39 degrees. Next, R, angle R, opposite to that what are the side is given, which is 41 over sine angle R. In fact, you are asked to find the value of the angle R. So let me grab my calculator. This one seems pretty easy. Sine 39, 0.629. Actually, I told you earlier to take only two decimal places after two places of decimal after the decimal. And here, if you take 3, what happens is the accuracy will be really high. Sine R. If you see that the value which is to be computed in the denominator, there are a lot of calculations. The value which you are supposed to compute, if it is in the denominator, if that is missing, please go for cross multiplication. Please go for cross multiplication. So 28 times sine B equals to 41 times 0.629. You know, this one seems easy. You know how to isolate this one, how to isolate the variable. Division by 28, then you get that sine B equals to 41 divided by 28. The result is multiplied by 0.629, 0.921. 0.921. If you want, you can take 4 digits. It's up to you. Very important point is while finding the angle, you have to switch these values. B goes to other side and the number comes this side, and by the time we'll be writing the inverse, sine inverse, the value is 0.9210 equals to angle B. Why we have to do this way means, the inverse operation while computing, for addition it is subtraction, the inverse operation of subtraction is addition, the inverse operation of multiplication is division. In the same way, while finding the angles, then earlier please see that here sine is there, and in the next step I am taking sine inverse. Sine inverse, it is the inverse operation. Okay, well, so what is sine inverse 0.9210? That is 67.07. So it is 67.07 degrees. That's the value of angle B. But this is not the end of the story. At times, you have to subtract from 180 degrees. You have to subtract from 180 degrees. You have to take away whatever the result you got and check, and you have to check. So what is the value of B means? That is 67.07. Anyhow, to make the problem a little easier, I am taking only 67. So 10 minus 7, 3, 7 minus 6, it is 1, therefore 113. Therefore, this is another possible answer. Please don't get confused. Here, sometimes some questions may have two answers. The second answer, the calculator will not give you. Then, what is the second angle, the possible answer that you have to compute? How means? By subtracting from 180 degrees. 180 degrees. So when to subtract from 180, when to not subtract 180, that I'll explain in my next session clearly by giving more examples. Okay, that's it. If you have any questions, please type in the comments.